Minecraft has finally added bundles into the game. After 4 years of development, this new item is incredibly useful but a bit complicated, so here's everything you need to know to use it. So a bundle condenses smaller stacks of items into the same slot. So we can have all of these small items here be put into the same slot, and now they're all located inside of that bundle. That can make our inventory much more managed and function as somewhat of an inventory update. But how do we craft, use, and customize this item? Well, Mojang wants the bundles to be something that works for players early game, so you do not even need a crafting table to make one. All you need is one string and one leather, and that'll give you a bundle. This makes them really accessible early game, with string easily found from spiders as well as loot chests, and leather found from cows, horses, and various mobs. Now bundles do not stack by default, and their controls have changed from the original prototype. So if you want to use the bundle, you want to use left click or select to put an item into the bundle. Now you can do this by clicking it on the bundle slot, or you can do this by clicking the bundle on the item slot, again with left click or select. Now if you want to remove an item from a bundle, you can right click in your inventory or use, and that will make the item appear there. You can also do this functionality by right clicking in the air, and those items will get thrown out of the bundle, although you cannot right click on items on the ground and they will be taken into the bundle. This even works by holding right click. As you can see here, it'll just go through all the items that are inside that bundle. So bundles have a lot of use, but just having all of these leather looking bags in the same area is definitely confusing and not very customized. Thankfully though, Mojang has added dyeable bundles into the game. Dyeing and re-dyeing bundles is quite simple. Simply place the bundle with its corresponding dye in the crafting grid, and then you can convert it to that color. Now something you may notice is that all of the different colored bundle textures are incredibly bright, and they have some of the brightest item textures in the entire game. This is a really useful feature because it especially makes the bundles easily picked out and differentiated inside of your inventory. You can see all the different textures they have here, like the gray, light blue, brown, red, etc. And you can use whichever one of these textures you like best. Personally, I really like the red bundle texture, and again, just be aware, although they're not expensive, you can always re-dye bundles if you want, to convert them from one color to another. But how do we actually use the bundle for an effective storage solution? Well, although bundles cannot directly stack in your inventory, you can put bundles inside of bundles, and by doing this, we can make bundles effectively stack to 17, if you want to use these without just clogging your storage with a bunch of unstackable items. Although fitting bundles together this way does not increase the maximum inventory that the bundles have. And speaking of that, how many items can the bundle actually hold? Well, as you can see with the bundles, as we fill them up with different items, there'll be a bar on the side of them, sort of like a durability bar that opens up, and that'll tell us how many items are inside of it of the total it can hold, which is 64 items of the normal stacking type. An example of this would be this bundle is full right here, and that's because if we go between these 3 stacks of blocks, there's a total of 64. Well, let's try putting my pickaxe into one of these bundles. That bundle is now completely full, containing just one pickaxe. That's because unstackable items are not stackable, and so they fill an entire slot worth 64 items each. However, there's also 16 stackable items like these spruce signs, 7 of them equaling almost an entire half stack of items proportionally. And every item would be worth 4 times this normal amount. So putting these 7 signs into the bundle, you can see the bundle is almost half full because 16 signs would be the total amount it can hold. So let's say you're pressing Q to drop these. Can we do that with bundles? Well, unfortunately we cannot. The only way to do this is to either throw the whole bundle at once, or to right click, having the entire stack be removed. And we have lots of these red bar filled bundles. Well, where do we put these now? Unlike when they're empty, they're not stackable with each other when they're full. So we can put bundles inside of shulker boxes. Now bundles inside of shulker boxes is a very powerful combination, considering the sheer number of individual item types we could have in one box. In fact, technically being able to have 64 unique item types inside of each bundle. For an example, let's say one block of every single one of the first 64 building blocks. This bundle could easily hold those all, and you could have all the materials for a small builder house inside of it. So they're very useful inside of shulker boxes for advanced storage. However, there is one problem, which is that even if we're dealing with an empty shulker box and an empty bundle, you cannot put the empty shulker box inside of the empty bundle. You can always put bundles in shulker boxes, but you can never have the shulker box item be contained inside the bundle. However, when we're dealing with many shulker boxes and many bundles, losing your items with these is basically guaranteed. And so to help prevent that, we can use an anvil. As an example here, you can see I've already renamed some of these bundles into interesting names. So recycling bag for this one, plastic waste bag for this one, but we can rename them to whatever we want. For an example, this green bundle could be named various leaves. And by doing that, we can remember what's inside of this bundle, as the name will pop up when we're scrolling through it, and you can also see it when hovering over it inside of the shulker box. But speaking of these bundles inside of the shulker box and being able to see items within them, let's get more into the functionality of how bundles work inside of your inventory itself. Well, of course, to start, you can directly place items into the bundle, again by either clicking on the bundle or by having the bundle land on that slot. Now, to be aware, this does remove the functionality of being able to click to switch items that's usually been in the game. For an example, we click with pork chops on this pickaxe, and it switches out that slot. But this does not work with bundles. We cannot, for an example, switch out this pickaxe for the bundle, so they are a bit harder to move because of that, and you want to make sure to have empty inventory slots, or just move up some of your items into your crafting grid while you're sorting them around. We have this tool tip here that shows us what items are inside of it, and you'll actually notice they're on the bundle item itself. It's incredibly fun because it shows these items off coming outside of the bundle. This is a really great visual way of representing what's inside of it. So this tooltip shows just the first 8 item types that are inside. The bundle can hold up to 64 unique different types of items. Now, as you can see now, it's showing us some of those different items, and it also says plus 19 at the end. But if we want to get to those other 19 items, we have to simply empty the bundle of some of its upper items to then see all of the other items be exposed. This effectively makes bundles much more useful if you only have a total of 12 items or less inside of them. We hover over these items, and once we're hovering over one we want, let's say the oak slab, we right click when we're hovering over it, and those slabs are taken out. Now this is very useful as it extends our inventory greatly, really making this more of an inventory update. Well, I'm about to show you some of my favorite uses of the bundle, and some ways to really show off the true usefulness that this item provides. So let's go over all of these fun ways of using the incredibly powerful bundle item. Now if you're out and about on a journey around your Minecraft world, you're going to need different crafting blocks, but they are going to be hard to all access. So this is why a very good use of the bundle is storing all of your crafting items in it. This idea was actually come up with by Evergreen Goddess, one of the admins on play.icraftmc.com, but either way it's incredibly useful, as then when we want to get one of these specific items, it's as easy as just grabbing it out of the bundle. For an example, we need that stone cutter, we grab it out and can use it instantly. So we can keep all of these useful crafting items directly in our inventory for easy access and to be able to put them back inside of here as well. Brewing in Minecraft requires a lot of different items, but with the brewing kit that's all solved. You see we have all of the supplies there to make 8 batches of fire resistance potions, as well as the brewing stand and the other ingredients. So we can simply click a few times to grab those all out of the bundle, and then just place down these items as they're needed, and we can simply make with this a brewing setup that goes on to brewing ourselves these potions as quickly as you want them. So if you want a much more compact way to brew potions, I would suggest creating a brewing kit bundle. This is also incredibly useful with enchanting, as we can store our enchanting table, books, lapis, grindstone, and anvil, so we can just take all those things out of the single bundle slot and then use them to build ourselves a full brewing setup. By doing this, we don't have to have a bunch of our slots be taken up, and we can compactly store everything we need. By using bundles, we can do this magical setup where from one slot we can have an entire enchanting setup. Now if you have a lot of items like I do that are unsorted, maybe a shulker or chest monster, bundles can even be useful here as a trash bag. So you can see here I've made black bundles and named them trash bag. We can go through clicking all the low stack items and compressing it to an incredible amount. So by doing this, we can simplify what it looks like to have all these complicated items in here. So you can use it as a compounding method to just get all the small stack items inside of the same area, so it's much easier to sort through all the bigger stacks. I like using dies in Minecraft, but they can take up a lot of storage slots. That's why I would suggest creating a quick die bag with bundles. With one bundle, you can have 4 die of each color, meaning you have a good selection to pick out which colors you want to dye your different items. Let's say here I want my armor to be purple green, light blue as well as blue. We can just grab those items out, use them to dye the armor, and once we've done that, we can just click on all the dye items to put them back inside of our quick dye bag. It's pretty often in Minecraft that a creeper will blow up parts of your build, so having specialized build repair kits for all your biggest builds can be a great idea. We have here the tower repair kit, and by just grabbing the items out of here, we now have everything we need to very simply fix up and patch up all the damage done to this building. So if you have a quick fix build kit inside of your inventory, it becomes so much simpler to repair minor damage around your build. Now, as well as having build repair kits, you can also just have build kits. So we have a simple example here of a smiley face build kit. It has all the items inside of it we need to build a smiley face, and you can sort of make sets this way by having different combinations you can set up of different items if you'd like, maybe having some instructions of what to do. So by doing this though, we can have inside of one bundle all the supplies you would need to create a simple build. This is also useful if you have something like a lamppost or a small tower. It is a ton of fun to build out of different types of flowers in Minecraft, as all their different colors can make beautiful combinations and gives you a beautiful way of coloring your world. And the bundles come into making this easier too. You can see here we have a flower collecting bag, and this is useful if you, let's say, go to the flower forest. You can then grab some of the flowers you get there and just keep putting them all into your flower collecting bags until finally you have a huge amount of different flowers to place around your world. So then we can have beautiful flower displays where all of their items are inside of one bundle. One of my favorite uses of bundles is as using it to give gifts to friends. So for an example, I can give Little Red Hen here some eggs, which are not incredibly useful for him, but you can also see here we have this blue bundle which has diamonds in it, and we can use this to give a surprise gift to Little Red. So with that bundle, he can then open it up and find out that there's diamonds inside. So this is the way that you can use bundles to turn them into great present wrappings, which is especially useful if you want to give players surprise presents. Now if we place bundles inside of a dispenser, although that dispenser cannot unload the bundles directly, it can dispense them. So what we're doing here is we have every single piece of diamond tool and armor here, and we're going to put each one inside of these multicolored bundles. Then it's going to basically become a mystery bag surprise system, and of course you could also add a payment to this. So basically when flicking this lever, we're going to receive one of the bundles. Not knowing what's inside, we right click and it reveals that we got boots. We can do this again and use it to have a surprise way of finding a certain random item. This is incredibly useful for mini games and shops, especially for things like carnival games. Bundles can also be used as an amazing way of packaging items inside of stores if you're playing on an SMP. For an example here, we have these elytras for sale, and they're inside of a bundle. So we can name the bundle, but when we take the elytra out, it is an unnamed perfect elytra. So we can use these to sort of protect the items that are inside of it. For an example, this enchanted golden apple that seems to be perfectly inside this enchanted golden apple bundle. And you can also color code these, of course, just to make a much more fun and interesting way of buying items, all packaged up in bundles. Redstone contains a lot of stackable items that we need a few of to make systems work correctly. That's why a redstone parts bundle is essential. You can see here we have everything we need from dust to pistons, hoppers, and more, so we can use these items to continue building on what we were doing before. By using this easy source of redstone storage, it makes it much simpler to add and remove things onto your builds. And of course when we're done, instead of having an inventory full of random parts, we just click a around grabbing all these things and they're all completely disappeared. When you're going caving in Minecraft, there's so many random items you get like diorite, dirt, dripstone, random ore blocks, silk touch doors, fortune doors, and just a huge variety of things. But this is made so much simpler with the cave collection bundle. You can see already we have different types of cave related blocks inside of it, and this is so useful when we gather more of them. We can just take those small remnants of items, put them all inside the same bundle, and if we do need them for some reason, we can of course take them out. But ideally, it is a great system for condensing your inventory. I'm a big fan of Minecraft's pottery making system, but it is pretty difficult because you have so many different random items for pottery sherds. So that's where our pottery sherd bundle comes into play. Of course, very easily we can put all the sherds inside of it. Then let's say we want to make a specific piece of pottery. I can simply craft them by putting them into my grid like this, and it's so much simpler than carrying around all those random items that you need to. Then of course you can decorate your world with these beautiful pots. Trimming armor also takes a lot of items to do. Let's use the bundle to turn all of this boring netherite armor into the trimmed varieties. As you can see inside of it, we have all the different armor trims, as well as some trim materials. We can simply go through here and select the smithing table, then grab out the other items we want to make our trims with, and very simply use those trims to upgrade our armor. So now our armor is all trimmed from the items inside of that bundle. I love bringing a cyan oxidized copper bundle, as well as a waxed copper bundle here, to grab those different item types and easily sort them in my inventory. You can of course do this for the lightly weathered and the exposed copper. So basically when we're going through here and just grabbing random copper blocks that are around, all these different blocks are going to be safely contained inside of their corresponding bundle. This is also useful for raiding many different structures early game, just collecting some of the random blocks you find there and getting them safely into your bundles. But just be aware that the only way to fill bundles is in your inventory. There's no redstone integration for this item yet. You cannot actually put items in or take items out of the bundle without having the player themselves do it. This does limit the item somewhat as there's no redstone integration for it, but it also gives us an item that is completely specialized to the player's inventory. Also, as a secret trick with bundles, if we place these in item frames, they can actually look like a perfect balloon texture. All we have to do is rotate these items halfway, and you can see when these are all pushed down, they really do resemble balloons. I would say if you're throwing a party in Minecraft to put up some of these bundle balloons, as they're an amazingly colorful item. Anyway, that is everything about bundles in Minecraft. I hope you enjoyed this video. I recorded it on my server, play.icraftmc.com, and if you join my Discord server down below, you can play on it too. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, and have fun using the bundles for all their amazing uses. Goodbye!